to share. Okay, I was trying to put it in a slideshow. Okay, are we good?
Yes, please go ahead.
All right, so welcome. Ndewo, Ekabo, Sanudezo. I was so glad when I saw the Nasarawa person. I believe I'll be speaking to you. And then, bienvenue if you're part of our French community. Honestly, this morning, my heart is filled with so much gratitude. And this is first to God, who has made it possible for this day to come to be. And secondly, to you, who is ready to believe in me, support this vision. I mean, trust me and the brand. Go all out to listen to me. I have a community, and I can see majority of the people of that community in here today. I am very grateful. And that is why I said that today's meeting is not just your regular conference. It's a divine appointment with God, because I know how this all started. And I can tell you for free that it has nothing to do with me or any form of competence that I have, but solely because His grace has been resting on me. And to have you come join me, support this growing vision, is one amazing thing that only God Himself could have been able to do. I think that the next thing I want to share briefly is how this aura started. Let's go. Okay. So I have a quote here. A true legacy is not about leaving an inheritance, but leaving an inspiration. So we have parents all the time talking about what they can do for their children. I don't want my children to suffer the way I suffered. It was not easy for me. Oh yes, it was not easy for you. But sis, bro, a true legacy is not about the property and the things you've acquired. It's about leaving an inspiration, what that child can live on when he or she is no longer with you. And this has nothing to do exactly with marriage or even in their parenting stage. But as soon as the moment they are no more with you, as soon as you drop them up to the school, whether at the primary, secondary, or university, as soon as you drop them off at the children's church when they're not with you, as soon as you drop them off in a friend's place when they're not with you, what they are holding on to, it's never the material things you gave them, but the inspiration, the things they have seen you do, the things they have seen you say, the things they have seen you, embodying as a parent. So, and that is what has given birth to this particular conference today, which is driven by values, putting in the required work. So there's a work to put in, there's a required work. It will please you this morning to know that the speakers here today will help you understand the right work to put in. Perhaps you've been expending energy in the wrong direction, because people do work. At the end of the day, what work they were doing was not favoring the child. Some were busy chasing all that they needed to gather, and then they lose the soul of the children. They lose the character of the child. They lose the morals of the child. They lose the values. And that is why I had thought about it, and I felt, let's come together to look at the right work to put in, to look at the right environment to set up a child thriving and successfully doing well, so that you don't expend energy in the wrong direction and begin to cry for regrets at the later part of your life. And so we at Lifepoint started from nowhere to somewhere. Now, what is the nowhere? The nowhere is that at a time I was coming up and I saw that almost everybody I met was complaining about one problem in the family line or the other. I had issues, challenges, had values that they felt that the children should have been living out, but they're not living it out, had pains to cry upon without gain. And I thought to myself, what can I do to become a solution? And I started by acquiring knowledge, in addition to the training, personal training that I had gotten from my own parents. And then I went in to acquire knowledge on how to go about this. And so that's what we meant, from one point to a source to many channels. Today, that particular vision that started as a burden in my heart on what to do to contribute to parenting properly, to contribute to having a saner society, is what we have gathered here today to discuss and still grow more in. That's why if you look at my slide, you will see a dark portion into light, and yet more light is coming, because I know that we're growing, I know that we're learning together, and by the time this set of people come up, we're having an army that is going to take over the parenting landscape, take over the family life landscape, which is where the huge problem in every society lies. That's also where the solution is coming from, because the president is from a home. The guy who is duping is from a home. The fraudster is from a home. So if we get it right from the home, then trust me, we're going to get it right in the society. And then we'll have how it's going. The influence is growing. Like I said, it started just with me sharing few things at my Facebook page, my Instagram page, until a time came and I felt, okay, I needed to expand and influence. There are people who are present on this platforms that are not present on the other one. I just see the influence is growing. What started just like, let me borrow the words of one of my friends, Kenneth Tigiri, like a kitchen talk, has today grown into social media platforms, and then also making life of impacts. I know what messages, feedback I get from people that are so encouraging. There have been times I've asked myself, is this vision actually impacting anyone? Am I making any impact? Am I even blessing any life? But when I receive such feedback from people that are quite encouraging, telling me of how one teaching or the other had been a blessing, I felt it was time to go even harder than I started. From this platform too, had emanated teachings that have been of great blessings to myself and to everybody around me. And a lot of resource materials that are already in this existing WhatsApp community, which I know that if you follow them and if you tag along as we do these teachings, there is no way you will not receive one thing. Even if it's something you knew and somebody reminded you of, is worth, living again, is worth reviving. And that's what has happened. So I'm now currently in almost all the platforms, and I trust that probably at the end of the day, we'll be able to join or follow me on them so that you can learn more. And where we're going, all right. So we are going to be providing premium solutions to family needs, specialized premium solutions. That's what we're going to be doing now to families. The reason is that there are a lot of peculiarities when it comes to family needs. What might be a problem for me may not be a problem for IJ. What can be a challenge to Wale may not be a challenge to Kenny. So we have thought about it now that going forward, now that we have been able to announce what we're doing, that we would also begin to provide tailored solutions to people's problems, to people's challenges. There are children, in a home, you can have 3 children, and then we'll have a child with special needs among them. The way you're going to parent that child will be different from the way you're going to parent the other children. We have organizations, people who come from homes, and if you're coming from a troubled home, to probably be very effective at work is one thing that should be a challenge. And this particular brand, Lifepoint, with UC, is stepping into that to provide the needed clarity for you as a family man, as a family woman, to be able to function effectively at the workplace. We're also coming into churches, and we're trusting that the churches will grant us access to be able to teach about character building as a heart of parenting. There is something that God has in mind when he's bringing 2 people together. It's not just to begin to give us offspring, but offspring that will be able to stand the test of time, bring God's will on earth, and be able to drive his will anywhere that they find themselves. And that's exactly what Lifepoint will be going into. And also non-profit organizations, we're also going to be partnering with them. That is where we are stepping into as on the next level. Our anchor scripture is Proverbs 24:3-6. That says that through wisdom, a house, and when we say house, we're not referring to physical buildings. We're referring to a life, your life, as a young lady, as a young man who is hoping to get married. God is interested in you. He said, through skillful and godly wisdom, a life, a home, a family is built. And by understanding, it is established on a sound and good foundation. And by knowledge, his rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches. A wise man is strong, and a man of knowledge strengthens his power. For by wise guidance, you can wage war. I tell you, there's war in parenting. Oh, come on. There are obstacles, there are challenges that make you once again think, am I in the right place? How did I even get married? So when those times come, he said, in abundance of it, there are counselors. In abundance of counselors, there's victory and safety. So this has been my anchor scripture as I move into different dimensions where family life solutions are needed. Because first, you need wisdom to build a home. You need wisdom to build a house, meaning your day-to-day runnings of life. It requires knowledge to be able to plan it out and to make abundance in your home, peace, joy, especially those things that material things cannot provide. That is what that knowledge will help you get. And that's exactly what we're discussing today. Putting in the required work to have these things secured in your home. And to be a wise man, to be a strong man, is to be a pillar in the home, to be able to dictate the needs of the children without them saying it. That's one of the greatest advantages you can have as a parent or as a mentor or as a pastor, to be able to look at your member and tell that this one, there's something wrong somewhere. It requires a lot of knowledge to do that. And by wise guidance, marriage is not something, parenting is not something you do alone. You need some counsel. If you can't get it from your probably older parents that you trust, you can get it from a professional counselor like myself. You can also get it with a community of people who are probably within the same phase of marriage, because there are ideas that can cross-pollinate and bet something strong that you people can use to live your life. I want to say thank you. Thank you for listening to me. These are my channels, my social media platforms that you can follow me on so that we can have one-on-one communication, conversation to grow better eaters. Anyway, I'm going to help you. Trust me, I'll be willing to do that. Thank you once again for making your time available to be here to learn how to put in the required work. If you didn't have family as a focus, if you don't have family as a value, trust me, you won't be here. And that's why I'm grateful. Thank you once